Hey TV Herstorians. Summer 2015, I started this show. For a podcast that discusses TV herstory, I am amazed today by the speed of cultural change that's happening all over the world. And in knowing history, we more readily understand and can embrace this change. We understand how the pieces fit together. So I guess that makes advanced TV herstory more relevant than ever. And so, listeners, it's been my pleasure to be on this journey with you. Thank you for listening, for your feedback, ideas, and support. I am your host, Cynthia Bemis Abrams. 4 years, well north of 100 episodes, I know I've changed and become more aware. I hope you have too. But before I go any further, I want to credit a smart, supportive circle of folks who really help build the podcast's spirit and quality. And that's primarily strategist Jen Edds of Brassy Broadcasting Company and Catherine Yang, our audio and social media editor. As you may know, there are few podcasts like Advanced TV Herstory. We tip our hat to podcast pioneer and legend Elsie Escobar for her wisdom and support. And, as with all things in my life, my husband Dave is a partner in this endeavor, this hobby, this calling of bringing these stories to you. Listeners, is TV viewing leaving you a little jaded these days? We relish that we can tailor our viewing experiences. We have DVR. We can stream whatever we want. We can binge a season of just the show that fills our bucket. And we do that so that we don't have to see what we don't want to see. But this year, it feels like more than ever we're becoming more aware of who we aren't seeing, whose stories aren't being told, who's not writing the script, persons of color, women, persons of varying abilities and sizes and social standing, that colorful, wacky world that is real life. And I guess we can credit the news and social media for covering this disparity in greater detail than ever before, that this inequity is now being discussed. It's common. It's almost normal to at least understand it and to talk about it. But I do get the feeling that systemic change will be a marathon, as all good things are, requiring that sustained energy because we're going to need to focus on learning and resetting old behaviors that we're going to have to help others see. And in all of this, the more aware you are, the less patient you get in some ways, and the more patient we need to be in others. So I guess as I see it, feminism is changing because we have older women speaking out, feeling more comfortable about speaking out, and overcoming their fear that they're going to say the wrong thing. And then we have this whole world of human beings under the age of 30 who are displaying this unprecedented sense of urgency that change must happen. This is an exciting time. In 2019, to remain silent on matters of injustice or inequity is to be complicit. And that's all heavy stuff. And maintaining that force requires energy. And so 4 years ago, I started a podcast that I was hoping was going to throw some mind candy in between your ears. So I guess I'm glad that I put fun episodes into the archives back in 2015 and 2016, because it feels like lately, folks, celebrating the work of TV women comes with a hard edge. This podcast wouldn't be genuine if it didn't recognize the hashtag social movements of Me Too and Time's Up, because they are very much rooted right now in our understanding of the entertainment industry. So we can see from their perspective and apply to our own that the quest for safe work environments that are free from sexual abuse or harassment, that they should be every person's goal, not just women of working age, and that should be the goal for every industry, not just entertainment. Similarly, equity in pay and opportunity and credit where credit is due, those are at the very heart of capitalism, right? That's how you improve. And having that diverse set of eyes on a project and voices in the room, makes for a better widget. Yet, everywhere you turn, the gross imbalance of power in society across all these industries, it's becoming more obvious. We are more aware, and we are less accepting of it than we were 4 years ago. Now, leading this podcast, I will say that we approach these struggles as more than fans, as more than idealists or rabble-rousers, though we are those too. More importantly, we're using this avenue to remind listeners from all stations in life that the power of entertainment and celebrity is great, and we need to know these lessons. It's great, right? But wait, when we learn of real-life stories of women in entertainment, very, very celebrated women, smart women, excellent actors or performers in some way, that they are up against the same isms that we are, sexism, ageism, racism, ableism. We relate to them and we learn from them. Now, listeners, I'll share with you that I've had 2 dreams in the last few months where I'm having a conversation with Jane Fonda. And I always wake up before we get to the heart of the wisdom that Jane's about to impart on me. But maybe it's this. When TV women like Ava DuVernay, CNN's Ana Navarro, or late-night comedy host Samantha Bee, when they call out the headlines and the oversights, we all become a little bit more empowered in our own lives to speak up, to document, to keep receipts, and to not settle for less than we deserve. This is how power shifts. We are not in this alone. But in the summer of 2015, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been able to articulate that thought quite as succinctly as I can today. Today, 100+ episodes and 2 dreams later. And it's with that reflection that I'm going to share with you the behind-the-scenes recap of our year. Now, you likely noticed that the format shift, releasing seasons dedicated to a single topic instead of frequent unrelated episodes, took place at the beginning of 2019. Basically, it's enabled me to conduct deeper research and find and speak with experts, and it's helping us create, we connect more dots, we stay more relevant to today's feminism, and that keeps us alive as a one-of-a-kind podcast. Because, where else, listeners, can you listen to a feminist look at the holiday animated classic Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer? In fact, our holiday fun began last fall with Catherine Yang's millennial take on the classic TV series Charmed. So it was Halloween, and the Charmed reboot was getting a lot of publicity, and we really recognized that the feminist framework of this often overlooked original series really put us in the mood to remind you all the reasons why it's worth a rewatch or a first watch. Charmed. We also had a rare interview with a man, because sometimes, yes, indeed, they do make the best experts on a topic. Jim Jacks is a prolific podcaster who calls out sexism in the sports industry in podcasts and on Twitter. And so he came on board, he shared knowledge and perspective into the careers of women sports reporters and anchors and those reporting from the field. Women who have been attempting to report on sports for more than 40 years, and yet the numbers never seem to change much. And that's one more hashtag social movement that trends occasionally as it pertains to women sports reporters, and it's hashtag let them work. Because in summer 2019, we know some men don't understand professional boundaries.
Before I get back to him.
Lavar, can I switch gears with you because I have a question here.
You can switch gears with me anytime.
Okay. Let's stay focused here. All right. Can you please explain to me what the biggest...
Indeed, this was a season of hashtags, and this podcast has a place in telling some of those stories and occasionally connecting dots, making you realize that the hashtag has been with us all along. We just didn't, well, we used to call it the pound sign. In October, the talented Linda Bloodworth Thomason went right to the New York Times with a story of her treatment 25 years ago at the hand of TV executive Les Moonves. He pretty much destroyed her career. So I encourage you to listen to that episode if you haven't already. If you too wonder why some women, prominent, smart, successful, award-winning women, fall from the radar, that they can't be found on social media, that they have drifted from promising careers that would have led them to mentor another generation of women in the field. We are emboldened when someone like the creator of Designing Women finds her voice again. Folks, those were some of the standalone episodes that we produced. And for a podcast like ours, I can tell you that the pace was unsustainable. So there we did. We regrouped in December and came out in January with a really great inaugural second season, as it were. With more time to research and prepare, we brought you a 5-episode season that I hope put the Judy Garland Show and her amazing talent in your heart. The Judy Garland Show aired 1963 and 1964, and it was fortuitous. It was kismet that I bumped into Chicago's award-winning Judy Garland expert, Angela Ingersoll, and she agreed to come to our new home, which was really still under renovation, to participate in a really fun interview. There we sat at my grandmother's card table and talked for more than 2 hours about TV, Judy Garland, the entertainment business. I am so proud of those episodes. Because I guess you can figure it out, I love my work. But there are parts of the podcast universe that demand that we give more than just producing fascinating content and doing so with the love for your tender ears. So this year we upped our social media game a bit, and so you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, where you will find fun news tying in headlines of the day, old episodes, births, deaths, career milestones of great women of TV. We will talk about recognition and awards and headlines. On Instagram, you'll find us at Advanced TV Herstory. On Twitter, we're just TV Herstory. Also, this year, our podcast became available on Spotify and Pandora. If that's how you listen to music and other podcasts, your life just got easier. Also, if you're newish to the show and are looking for some help in understanding how we organize all of these episodes, how we look at them, then go to the website, tvherstory.com, and you'll see the results of some really good hours that Catherine put in to rearrange the websites, to create some categories, category descriptions, to help you find what you're looking for or what you want to listen to next. And while you're at the website, please do sign up for our e-newsletter. It is not spam, but it might be sitting in your spam filter. It contains no advertising. It's really just a handful of notes, fun pictures, celebrations, coming attractions. We just want to stay connected to you. So what will this year bring? Listeners, you've told us that we are at our best when we are tackling headlines of the day, and that we are connecting dots that people hadn't thought about in a long time, or maybe ever. So content-wise, you can expect more good stuff. Stay tuned, too, as we expand our voice by writing for publications and posting more transcripts of past episodes, really trying to make the archive as accessible as it can be so that you don't just have to be a listener, you could in fact be a reader. Because every once in a while you end up somewhere where you really can't listen, but you would just as soon read something thoughtful, like a script of Advanced TV Herstory. On a different note, if you would like any of these topics, something we hadn't even thought of, but maybe something you've been thinking about, brought to a keynote or a conference, workshop, or a classroom, shoot me a message using the contact form at the website, tvherstory.com. Now, this last bit is one that I'm going to say out loud because experts say that when you say something out loud, it starts to become more real. There's that whole accountability factor. And that is that every time I reread a script, I look back at the work that we did a couple years ago, I get this renewed sense of energy. I love this stuff, and I think this stuff is important. So I kind of start thinking, you know what, this deserves to be in a book. It deserves to be in print more than just on a screen. And it's that kind of book that you can share with somebody who hasn't thought about these things. The best of advanced TV herstory. So that's what I'm going to start working on. And it might take a while, but I'll keep you posted. And maybe in our 5th anniversary, there will be some great news about its progress. In the meantime, let me know what you're thinking about the idea of putting advanced TV herstory into a book, or share with me the dots that you're connecting from your viewing experience that you'd like us to pursue further. We have some ideas, but we are always open to hearing and exploring yours. So, in closing, thank you for making advanced TV herstory part of your listening and learning. Thank you for sharing it with others, whether they are podcast listeners or are only now becoming aware of how to access a podcast. It's not as complicated as you think, and as I like to say, you go to YouTube, you go to the website, and you just press play. Listeners, you are the best. I'm your host, Cynthia Bemis Abrams.